Section 250.94 of the National Electrical Code addresses the use of bonding bushings in specific scenarios. It generally mandates the employment of bonding bushings when non-metallic raceways are utilized to house conductors entering metal enclosures. This requirement extends to both concentric and eccentric knockouts. The explicit text of Section 250.94 applies to service equipment, distribution panels, and related equipment. However, it doesn't categorically exclude other forms of outdoor enclosures, like disconnect boxes. To understand the application of bonding bushings, it's vital to define key terms. Firstly, the term service in the context of electrical systems refers to the conductors and equipment responsible for delivering electricity from the serving utility to the wiring system of the premises being served. Secondly, a disconnect is a device designed to simultaneously open all ungrounded conductors of a circuit through a single operation. The NEC doesn't definitively state if bonding bushings are mandatory at outdoor disconnect boxes. Despite this lack of explicit direction, the general wording of Section 250.94 can lead to the inference that bonding bushings are intended for use wherever non-metallic raceways enter metal enclosures. This inference holds irrespective of the specific type of enclosure. In practical application, it's generally recommended to employ bonding bushings at outdoor disconnect boxes where LiquidTite conduit is connected to a concentric knockout. This practice enhances electrical continuity and ensures proper grounding, especially in the event of a fault. While the NEC doesn't explicitly mandate bonding bushings at outdoor disconnect boxes, their use is strongly recommended. This recommendation is made to ensure the safety and reliability of the electrical installation as a whole. Now let's delve deeper into the concepts. The role of a bonding bushing is primarily to provide a secure electrical connection between a metal conduit or enclosure and the grounding system. This connection is critical for carrying fault current back to the source, allowing overcurrent protection devices, such as circuit breakers or fuses, to operate and clear the fault. Without a proper bond, fault current could flow through unintended paths, potentially causing dangerous voltage on metal parts and increasing the risk of electric shock. Concentric and eccentric knockouts present a specific challenge because they create multiple layers of metal with varying degrees of contact. This can impede the flow of fault current and increase impedance in the grounding path. Bonding bushings are designed to bridge these gaps and provide a low impedance path for fault current. LiquidTite, or LiquidTite flexible metal conduit, is often used in outdoor applications where flexibility and protection from moisture are required. When LiquidTite is connected to a metal enclosure through a concentric knockout, it's especially important to ensure a proper bond because the flexible nature of the conduit can make it more susceptible to movement and vibration, which could loosen connections over time. The recommendation to use bonding bushings in this scenario is based on several factors. Firstly, enhanced safety. Secondly, code compliance. And thirdly, best practices. A proper bond reduces the risk of electrical shock and fire. While the NEC may not explicitly require bonding bushings in all cases, using them demonstrates a commitment to safety and can help avoid potential liability issues. Even if not explicitly required by code in a specific situation, using bonding bushings is a generally accepted best practice in the electrical industry. This is because they provide an extra layer of protection and can help ensure the long-term reliability of the electrical system. Installing a bonding bushing is a relatively simple process. Firstly, prepare the knockout. Clean the area around the knockout to remove any dirt or debris. Secondly, install the connector. Insert the LiquidTite connector through the knockout and tighten it securely. Thirdly, attach the bonding bushing. Place the bonding bushing over the connector and tighten it down. Fourthly, connect the grounding conductor. Connect the grounding conductor to the bonding bushing using a screw or other appropriate fitting. The size of the grounding conductor should be determined by the size of the circuit conductors, as specified in the NEC. It's crucial to regularly inspect electrical connections, especially in outdoor environments, to ensure they remain tight and corrosion-free. Loose or corroded connections can increase resistance and impede the flow of fault current, compromising the effectiveness of the grounding system. In addition to bonding bushings, other methods can be used to ensure proper grounding and bonding, such as grounding lock nuts and bonding jumpers. The choice of method will depend on the specific application and the requirements of the NEC. Grounding lock nuts are similar to bonding bushings, but they are typically used with rigid metal conduit or intermediate metal conduit. Bonding jumpers are used to connect different metal parts together to ensure electrical continuity. When working on electrical systems, it's important to always follow safe work practices, including firstly, de-energizing circuits, secondly, using proper personal protective equipment, and thirdly, following lockout-tagout procedures. Always de-energize circuits before working on them. This will help prevent electric shock. Use appropriate personal protective equipment, such as gloves and safety glasses, to protect yourself from electrical hazards. Follow lockout-tagout procedures to ensure that circuits remain energized while you are working on them. Remember that electrical codes and standards can vary depending on the location. It's important to consult with a qualified electrician or electrical inspector to ensure that your electrical work complies with all applicable requirements. Ultimately, the decision of whether or not to use bonding bushings at outdoor disconnect boxes will depend on a variety of factors, including the specific requirements of the NEC, the type of equipment being used, and the overall design of the electrical system. However, in most cases, it's a good idea to err on the side of caution and use bonding bushings to ensure the safety and reliability of the electrical installation. Let's consider some additional aspects. The NEC, or National Electrical Code, is a comprehensive set of standards that govern the safe installation of electrical wiring and equipment in the United States. It's published by the National Fire Protection Association (NFPA) and is updated every 3 years. The NEC is not law, but it is widely adopted by state and local jurisdictions as the basis for their electrical codes. Compliance with the NEC is essential for ensuring the safety of electrical systems and preventing electrical hazards. The purpose of the NEC is to protect people and property from hazards arising from the use of electricity. It covers a wide range of topics, including wiring methods, overcurrent protection, grounding, and equipment installation. The NEC is constantly evolving to keep pace with new technologies and changing safety concerns. The NEC is organized into chapters, articles, and sections. Chapters cover broad topics, such as wiring methods and equipment. Articles cover specific aspects of a topic, such as grounding and bonding. Sections provide detailed requirements for specific situations. It's important to understand the structure of the NEC in order to find the information you need. The NEC contains many definitions of terms used in the electrical industry. These definitions are important for understanding the requirements of the code. The NEC also contains many tables and examples to help illustrate the requirements of the code. These tables and examples can be very helpful for understanding how to apply the code in specific situations. Electrical inspections are an important part of ensuring that electrical work complies with the NEC. Electrical inspectors are typically employed by state or local jurisdictions and are responsible for inspecting electrical installations to ensure that they meet the requirements of the code. Electrical inspections are typically required for new construction, renovations, and repairs. The inspection process typically involves a review of the electrical plans, a visual inspection of the electrical work, and testing of the electrical system. If the electrical work does not comply with the NEC, the inspector will issue a notice of violation. The notice of violation will specify the code violations and the steps that must be taken to correct them. It's important to correct any code violations as soon as possible to avoid potential safety hazards. In addition to the NEC, other standards and regulations may apply to electrical work. These standards and regulations may be issued by federal, state, or local agencies. It's important to be aware of all applicable standards and regulations when performing electrical work. Qualified electricians have the knowledge and experience necessary to perform electrical work safely and in compliance with all applicable codes and standards. Hiring a qualified electrician can help ensure that your electrical work is done correctly and safely. When hiring an electrician, it's important to check their qualifications and experience. You should also ask for references and check their insurance coverage. Electrical safety is everyone's responsibility. By following safe work practices and complying with all applicable codes and standards, we can all help prevent electrical hazards. In the specific case of the 60 amp outdoor disconnect box with LiquidTite, several factors need consideration. The amperage rating of the disconnect, in this case 60 amps, influences the selection of appropriately sized conductors and overcurrent protection. The NEC specifies conductor ampacity requirements based on the load and determination temperature ratings of the equipment. LiquidTite, being a flexible metal conduit, provides mechanical protection and allows for movement or vibration. However, it's crucial that the fittings used with LiquidTite are listed for the purpose and properly installed to maintain a LiquidTite seal. Concentric knockouts, due to their step design, can introduce impedance in the grounding path. This is where bonding bushings become particularly important to ensure a low impedance path for fault current. Even though the disconnect is located outdoors, it's essential to consider environmental factors such as moisture, temperature variations, and exposure to sunlight. These factors can affect the performance and longevity of electrical components. Grounding and bonding are critical for safety. Grounding provides a path for fault current to return to the source, while bonding ensures that all metal parts are at the same potential, reducing the risk of electric shock. The size of the grounding conductor is determined by the size of the ungrounded conductors, as specified in NEC Table 250.122. When installing the bonding bushing, make sure it's properly tightened to provide a secure connection. Also, ensure that the grounding conductor is properly connected to the bonding bushing and the grounding system. Regular inspections of the disconnect box and its components are essential to identify any signs of damage, corrosion, or loose connections. Any issue should be addressed promptly to maintain the safety and reliability of the electrical system. The location of the disconnect box also plays a role. If it's in a readily accessible location, it's more likely to be subject to physical damage. Consider using a protective enclosure to prevent damage from impact or vandalism. It's always a good practice to document all electrical work, including the installation of the disconnect box, the wiring, and the grounding and bonding connections. This documentation can be helpful for future maintenance, troubleshooting, or inspections. In summary, while the NEC may not explicitly mandate bonding bushings for every outdoor disconnect box, their use is highly recommended, especially when LiquidTite is connected to a concentric knockout. Bonding bushings enhance safety, ensure proper grounding, and comply with industry best practices. Always consult with a qualified electrician and follow all applicable codes and standards to ensure the safety and reliability of your electrical installation.